It's a brand new day with Mo and News. It's time to have your say. She's got the scoop, the stories, all the latest trends. Mo's got the news, let's hear it. My dear friends, from politics to showbiz, no story's too small. Mo covers it all. She's got the inside call, her voice so smooth, like honey in the summer sun. With Mo on the mic, you know the news is always fun. Mornings with Mo, the best newsy news in the world. With her style so classic and her stories unfurled. From morning till night, she's got us in the know. Turn on your radio, let Mo's newsy news flow.
Welcome, guys. It is May the 29th, and we have all of the news that I was able to find. And welcome, everyone. Thank you, Christine, for saying hi. I hope you're having a great day. Wolfram for doing all of the mod stuff. Jeffrey Montgomery and Fraudit Wrangler, good morning. Cynthia, retired firefighter, thanks for your service and good morning. And Jess, welcome. Alice G and Melanie Dawson, good morning. So we have some interesting news and some weird news, and then some, I don't know how it became a headline, but it was, and I clicked on it. So our first news story is a bit alarming, but former Quantico staffers warn of an attack after a quote unquote dry run after Jordanian nationals try to breach the base. So, I mean, maybe, just maybe, not knowing who anyone coming into the country might be a bad idea. I mean, but I'm not a scienceologist, so take everything I say with a ramen noodles packet worth of salt. A former federal firearms instructor who worked at a Marine Corps base in Quantico, Virginia, is warning of the strange arrest of two Jordanian nationals in a box truck at the base that may have been a dry run to test security inside the facility ahead of an attack of, a not great kind. The same truck, had it been loaded with things that go kablooey, could have been a devastating weapon if it made it close enough to an occupied building. Driving the box truck was a run for driving a box truck that is not going to be empty the second time, said David Katz, a former DEA agent and CEO and founder of Global Support Security Group. Sorry, I had to litigate kid, law stuff as the, judge of kiddom stuff. Had to tell people where to go and get up and go away. Okay, let me see here. Now, he says he can't prove that this is possibly a dry run, but putting all the dots together on his, corkboard with little red strings, he says it is a possibility, and that the, 9/11 hijackers did try getting aboard planes with box cutters on previous occasions before they actually hijacked the plane. And whichever one of those jackbutts I have to thank for, having to take my shoes off in a disgusting, gross airport, when I am president, I'm stopping that. According to the report from a federal government 9/11 commission, conspirators took cross-country flights, smuggling box cutters onto the planes before determining the best time to storm the cockpit. It's their equivalent of a feasibility study, Katz said. What would happen if we get off the highway in a box truck and try to get onto the base? The two men had no weapons, no prior criminal histories, and authorities released no evidence that they had a terror-related motive. However, Katz says he doubts their cover story that they were contracted drivers for Amazon or that they took a wrong turn. 1 second. It's week number 2 in spring break, and we're already annoyed of all of our siblings. Awesome. I've just been telling the kids, "Look, I created at least 5 other people that may have a kidney you can borrow, so don't be a pest." I'm just saying. Uh, Now Amazon said it was looking into the matter, but it did not believe the duo were delivering anything on the company's behalf. The two men, both from Jordan, arrived at the base in a box truck on May 3rd, allegedly posing as delivery drivers and attempting to get onto the base, according to authorities. Military police stopped them at the gate, but the driver allegedly ignored them and tried to move into the compound. Well, because I know that Amazon, whenever they're delivering stuff, generally tries to get into secure places. Due to the swift response and execution of their duties, the officers were able to deploy the vehicle denial barriers, preventing any further access to the Marine Corps base, Quantico, and detained the individuals who were eventually turned over to the U.S. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement custody. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Fisher of Men. I don't know. Or if they would both just have kidneys that decided to crap out. I might use that one. Uh, let's see here. Now, Acting Immigration and Customs Enforcement Director Patrick Lechtner told Fox News Digital previously that the two were facing removal proceedings. However, they have not been publicly identified. Neither ICE nor the FBI immediately responded to requests for comments. Fox News's Griff Jenkins reported Thursday that at least one of the suspects had entered the U.S. illegally through San Diego in April after crossing the border from Mexico. Critics of Biden's administration have warned repeatedly that the country's open southern border could put Americans at risk. And this is what really bothers me. Look, if we can make a way for legal immigration to be easier, less cumbersome, and, you know, really determine who wants to come here to do good and better themselves versus, handouts and give me sums. I'm sure there's a better way than what we currently have or even formerly had, but uh, we have entered a new, era of sort of sole or lone attackers that could be here, and the fact that we are not doing a whole lot for our security, i I don't want something bad to happen. But the other suspect apparently overstayed his student visa. A student overstays, somehow gets in contact with someone illegally crossing into the US on the other side of the country. Both of them wind up in that truck, Katz said. There's no possible explanation for what happened other than a sinister one. I mean, if you've been watching the news, 2024 chooses like the sinister door a heck of a lot of the times. Now, some of 2024, he chooses the absurd door, but I'm more worried about that scary, sinister door over there. Quantico is a Marine Corps base that also houses training facilities and the labs for the FBI and DEA, which could be potential terror targets, Katz said. Uh, and can anyone come up with any reasonable explanation as to why two illegal aliens from Jordan would be driving a box truck into a sensitive area? I mean, no, no, I can't. But I'm not a cybersecurity person. In other news, if you are a parent of a teen person like well, or teen people like I am, you all know that it is prom season, and uh, this school chose to be on point and on top of things this year. And I'm glad that my girls don't go to this school because I have no, desire to spend 8 more years trying to learn how to garment sew. This high school prom was like the Met Gala for teens. Can't compete with these kids. I mean, these are some awesome costumes. It's not punch bowls and cheap corsages anymore. Booker T. Washington High School students transformed their Miami, Florida prom into a real life Cinderella moment, and their soiree is being compared to the Met Gala thanks to their incredibly elaborate fashions. Not unlike the annual celebrity soiree, students were dressed to the nines for their fairy tale themed bash last Friday and arrived in style in flashy vehicles like Rolls Royces, Mercedes Benz, BMWs, and even a horse drawn carriage. Okay, these parents are extra because these kids aren't footing the bill for all of these things. As seen in a 1-minute TikTok clip posted by Booker T. Washington student Camilo Castro, these dapper teens' showy arrivals included a motorcade with police escorts as family and friends watched in awe. My friends crushed prom. Castro captioned the viral clip with over 3.9 million views. It's not uncommon for teams to go all out for the annual big night out, but the Miami youths take it to a next level. In 2018, one local school brought a live tiger to the festivities. I can see nothing going wrong with bringing a tiger to a prom. I mean, I'm sure that's the 85th sequel in Hangover franchise. I More recently, Miami Northwestern High School had its prom on May 11th and featured uh, majestic beauty arriving in Porsches, Lamborghinis, and a Cybertruck. I mean, these are the amount of time that went into these costumes. I am in awe. I don't even want to know how much that was probably a custom tailored job, and I don't even want to know how much that dress was. This is the norm, one teacher told the Miami Herald, but this class set the bar a little higher because everyone understood the assignment. At the Booker T. Washington events, what entitled Once Upon a Time, uh, well, there's Walmart Rapture and then there's Flea Market Rapture. And Flea Market Rapture has a couple more velvet wolves baying to the moon and, well, Jesus pictures. I mean, to be honest with you. I do like Larry the Cable Guy. I liked him more when he was on kind of just with Bill Engvall and Jeff Foxworthy, but he's okay on his own too. And thank you for the super chat. All or it was so once upon a time does the shoe fit? The well-dressed youngins embodied folktale characters from Little Red Riding Hood, Beauty and the Beast, Cinderella, Aladdin, Princess and the Frog, and the Pirates of the Caribbean. I mean, obviously that's Cinderella. These girls went way all out to the max. And I can imagine that is so heavy and so hot in that dress. Oh my god. And she came in a freaking carriage. How many wigs do I have? Um, Probably more than Mr. Mo has accounted for. I'd say probably 30-ish on a low estimation, maybe 40-ish on a tall one. And why do people ask me weird questions? Well, because I'm a mom, and my boys really hope that I know the answer to why glue doesn't stick to the inside of the bottle, but I never, figured that one out. Let's see. So we've got, oh, the Little Red Riding Hood and Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell looks sassy and a little bit irritated to even be here, and that's kind of how I would assume Tinkerbell would be. Oh, and Maleficent. I mean, these students were like, "Theme, we got your theme. We're all cosplayers." Even by the hair of their chinny chin chins, the students were determined to make their prom look a fashion statement that even fairy tale characters wished they had served. Some students added small details to the theme of their dresses or tuxes, while others went over the top, giving Met Gala fairy tale couture, like one woman who wore a horn hat with a strapless black gown accessorized with a crow. A young woman encapsulated the real life princess moment by arriving at the ball in an all white pumpkin shaped carriage with her Prince Charming. Her ice blue ballroom dress dazzled as she exited the coach and gracefully made her way to the venue before the clock struck midnight. Another duo who cosplayed Beauty and the Beast strutted the prom walkway, the young woman in a gold feathered beaded dress holding an enchanted rose. And thank you, Fraudit Wrangler, for gifting 5 memberships. Those went to Danny T, Fraudit Terminator, Burnt Out Lawyer, AC's Wildflower, and Debbie Morin. So congratulations and thank you, Fraudit, very much. I've been trying to catch up with your streams. I have been using some of them. It's going to sound ridiculous, but I get so irritated with those with the frauditors, with dumbwaiter making my state look stupid, that I was able to get, to my 2-mile goal today. Well, I mean, not much quicker, but a little bit quicker, and I left the soup cans. My wrist weight should be, my wrist weight should be here, so I will not, attempted to break both of my ankles on my walking pad because. Mo is what we like to say, frugal unless it's wigs. So I was like, "I don't need wrist weights. I'll just get soup cans." And then you almost drop one and you nearly, you know, have to explain in the ER how you broke all of your limbs attempting to be healthy. But I mean, honest to goodness, these kiddos did an awesome job. I'm amazed at all the, creativity. And goodness, I hope the parents looked at the bill and said, you can wear that dress to your next 18, you're going to get married in that dress and also buried. Because I don't even want to know the amount that was spent on some of these custom outfits. In news that will make you this is why spelling and grammar outlaws should not go on television, but apparently Pat Sajak is about done with people and the current education system because the last week has been somewhat full of, well, Wheel of Fortune fails, if you will. had to make sure there wasn't going to be anything too terribly unkosher in the article. But Pat Sajak freaks out on Wheel of Fortune contestants in an embarrassing blunder. No, no, no. Nobody listens to Pat Sajak anymore. The legendary Wheel of Fortune host freaked out when contestants celebrated one of their answers that turned out to be incorrect while time remained on the clock. Turning one of the toss-up puzzles on Wednesday or Monday night's show, the 3 fans, uh, Ludigi Aldor, Rufus Cumberlander, and Cynthia King, were asked to complete a phrase, and it started with a 4-letter word with N and apostrophe, a 4-letter word with K at the end, and then a 4-letter word that started with an A. King buzzed in but drew a blank and left the puzzle up to her 2 opponents to solve. But when that popped up again, Cumberland proudly and enthusiastically shouted, "Don't look away," to which Alator and King celebrated with him, making the guess. Well, except it wasn't right. And Pat Sajak is like, "No, this is not happening." yelling at the contestants who are busy giving each other fist bumps and, high fives. He said, "No, it's not correct," the presenter exclaimed, but it was too late as the full answer was shown on the board. "Can't look away," the puzzle read. As the three contestants realized their mistake, Ajak decided to celebrate himself. Everyone's congratulating everyone, and we get to keep the money. With no one solving the puzzle correctly, King was awarded the points for the segment as she won the two previous puzzles, pushing her score to $19,390, which would eventually become the winning amount. Wheel of Fortune fanatics may recognize the trio who have appeared on the primetime game show before, being brought back for fans' favorites weeks. King was recently on the show this past Thursday, and Cumberlander made his debut in 2015, while Alador first appeared on 2020. Monday's gaffe was just the latest in a long list that Sajak had added to the greatest flubs he's ever seen. Last week, another failed answer went viral, but for a little reason. During Thursday night's opening segment, the contestants were asked to solve the phrase. As part of the four-word answer was four letters in the first word, two letters, and well, this is what we went with. Uh, well, one person just yelled out, "Right in the butt," because, if you're me or him, I mean, you just say whatever filterless comes to your thought at the beginning. Uh, apparently, his fellow contestants and the crowd burst into laughter. No, longtime host Pat Sajak responded, managing to keep his composure. And better him than me because, y'all, I would be laughing hysterically. But Wheel of Fortune, hear me out. Unsafe for work, Wheel of Fortune. I would be there. You don't know the amount of hilarity we would all get for not safe for work, Wheel of Fortune. The crowd was still laughing. The contestant Blake solved correctly the innocent answer. This is the best. Sajak's time on the show is winding down in the next few months alongside the show's 41st season. In June 2023, Sajak, 77, announced his retirement from the beloved game show, saying it's been a wonderful ride. His final episode, taped on April 5th, will air on Friday, June 7th. When the show returns for season 42 in the fall, Ryan Seacrest will be at the helm, taking over hosting duties for Sajak. I don't know why Ryan Seacrest really annoys me, and I'm sure he's a lovely person, but there's something very Ken doll and plastic about him that it's just too uncanny valley for me, but that's neither here nor there. Um, this next person, your family's always gonna have that one practical joker, but I don't know how this is a joke, and when you guys see the headline, you'll know why I picked it. Uh, now, call me crazy, but this isn't a prank. I ate my nan. Sister shockingly reveals she put her grandmother's ashes in pasta sauce to prank her brother. I'm gonna call that psychological torture and not a prank. Also, I don't know that your grandmother is going to be happy that you put her in the red sauce. I mean, what? This is not a prank. This is what is going on here? Uh, because, who among us hasn't put a dead relative in someone's, marinara sauce to keep the chuckles going? It's a saucy confession. The hosts of an Australian radio show were left horrified after a woman called into their program claiming she fed her grandmother's ashes to her brother as a prank. The woman, known only as Cheyenne, made the macabre confession on Tuesday's episode of Fifi, Five and Nick, saying she and her mother first sampled the nan's remains before later serving. What is this story? Like, look, we'd all do it. We're just gonna lick a little bit of grandma's ashes, see if they go with the palette that we're trying to create, and then we'll add some salt and some fat. What? This this is not real life. 2024 has I never had, grandma's ashes in the red sauce on my bingo card, but apparently 2024 will give you what you never asked for. Quote, "So my nan passed away in August last year and got cremated," Cheyenne explained. "Obviously, my family and myself were grieving, so I went over to my mom's one night and thought to cheer her up a bit and said, 'Let's just taste Nan.' I need this woman found. I would like to have a sit-down interview with her because I am scared. I'm horrified and intrigued in so many levels." We need to get to the bottom of this, Robert Stack Unsolved Mysteries style. After I did it once, I got my mom to do it because I didn't wanna be alone in it. What? I am all the confused. I don't know if it's considered cannibalism. I have no idea. D d Cheyenne went on to tell the host that her brother had recently, been released from prison, and she welcomed him home by having him taste the ashes without consent. "This is the part I've told nobody," the Aussie explained. "We haven't lived with each other since we were like young kids, so I thought it would be funny to prank him, and I put some of Nan's ashes in the pasta sauce." Y'all, prank must mean something different in Australia, and maybe there are, different levels of prankosity in a land where everything wants to unalive you. Like, even the cuddly looking koala bears have, like, razor sharp teeth or something. I don't know. Uh, the statement led to audible gasps among the host, with one dubbing the dish spaghetti a la Nan. What in the actual I think this gentleman's face captures what we were all thinking. This gentleman is like, I would like to resign from the human race." No, Jess, you are not hearing it wrong. Apparently, some Australian woman, decided that she would just for funsies put ashes in her brother's, first meal home from prison. Cynthia, if they served any other wine, that'd be just terrible. Uh, I feel like Cheyenne then confessed she has a weird addiction to the ashes and believes that eating them helps her connect with her great No, this has to you know, I'll just tell my children, "Look, I'd rather be taxidermied to hold, like, the candy dish and, Halloween, and then you can dress me up like those little cement geese for every season, but please don't cremate me and then eat my ashes with anything." I feel like we're closer than ever, and Nan will live on for me forever. "No, ma'am, you process that, and she's gonna be out in about 72 hours." No, that's why I'm gonna get taxidermied so they can just dress me up however, they wish to. I've thought way too long and hard about this. The host posted the footage of the call to their Instagram page where listeners were left mortified. "That is so disturbing and disgusting," one declared. Others were dubious about the condiment confessions, with skeptics saying Cheyenne concocted the story for attention. And we all hope for everyone and tiny baby Jesus's sake that this was just clout chasing and it never really happened because that's how I go to sleep at night. In other news, Oreos are awesome. Even bears agree. And to be honest, whatever a bear will break into your house to steal is a good snack. Bear breaks into home to steal cookies in hilarious video and earns a cute nickname. Bears have gone wild here lately, just going into Arizona. And I mean, look, you can't eat an entire bowl of broccoli, but you can take down a package of Oreos without thinking about it. At least that's what I used to be able to do. He loves cookies very much. A bear has been spotted going to multiple homes in Los Angeles and swiping packs of the popular brand of cookies. As recently as Friday, May 24th, the bear broke into a home in Monrovia uh, neighborhood and left with just one item, Oreos. Now, residents have given him the nickname Oreo. I have no idea. Good morning, Karen Sanger and Roxanne, sorry. A video obtained by ABC7 shows the bear calmly breaking through the window and leaving with a recognizable blue package dangling from its mouth. I mean, have we forgotten Cocaine Bear? This bear is like, "Hey, I'm not that bad. I'm Oreo Bear, so just leave some double stuffs in the forest and we will be fine." I was scared to death, neighbor Vina Corey told ABC. He was so close, and that's never happened before. The same house on Canyon Crest Drive was also targeted a week earlier by a bear that broke into their car to get a hold of their groceries, including the Oreos. See, this is why you just can't have nice things. Uh, Corey had an incident at her home. So this bear is simply a carbaholic. Look, the first thing is admitting you have a problem and not breaking into refrigerators to steal chocolate cake, but they're not sure if this is the same one. The bear has not been tagged, but neighbors believe the heists were pulled off by the same bear. I mean, now that you know what an Oreo tastes like, I mean, who would want to say goodbye to that life? That's why we named him Oreo, Corey told KTLA5. He's not just roaming around, he's actually going into houses. So now it's a very scary thing to leave a window open or your back yard door open or anything. We're okay with them around. It's just this one that got too comfortable opening screens and getting inside houses, pushing open windows. According to ABC7, some residents of the neighborhood are wondering whether the infamous bear can be trapped and relocated since it has a propensity for those Oreos and those break-ins in order to get its favorite snacks. The problem is you see a bunch of, women in the cage too, like, "Oh, these weren't free Oreos?" That's how you catch a moe. You just put a little Debbie's in the middle of the forest, and I'm like, "This seems like a good idea." Because the bear has not shown any sign of aggression, no one in the neighborhood has made an official report to wildlife officials. Well, I mean, that I'm sure that, it's all fun and games until your, trained Oreo attack bear goes crazy on other people. In a story that will make you want to lose your mind and get Lord Chippy on standby, you know, this is just absolutely brazen and ridiculous. But these high or carjackers were seen in a shocking video opening fire. So they actually did fire a shot into the air before they tried to steal this car. Can't stay here anymore. Armed carjackers opened fire on a Mississippi family in their own driveway Friday and tried to take off in the victim's vehicle with young children still inside, a shocking video shows. The doorbell camera footage obtained by local news station WAPT shows two men walking up to the family's Jackson home with at least one force multiplier pointed at a woman, Heather Allen, and her adult son standing next to a black car parked in the driveway. A Shot can be heard as the pair duck and hide behind the car while the men get closer, brandishing the firearm. One of the men then opens the driver's side door and yanks Alan's daughter out of the vehicle and gets behind the wheel, according to the video. The suspect pointed the force multiplier in the face of Alan's other son, who was inside the car, Alan told the news station. He jumps in the driver's seat, and I'm standing outside looking in. He points a gun at my oldest boy's face. Her son managed to run out, but her two young grandchildren, her daughter's children, were still inside. My daughter was like, my babies are in the car, Alan said in an emotional interview. Alan decided to risk it, them out of the car while the two suspects repeatedly yelled for the keys. To get the armed men to leave, the grandmother chucked her own keys at them and they took off in her car that was parked in the front lawn, the video shows. Her vehicle was recovered largely undamaged just 2 blocks away, about 40 minutes after the carjacking, Jackson police told the station. The car is currently in police possession as they process it for evidence. Allen said that the armed carjacking was traumatizing. I mean, this is brazen. You are going to someone's house. You obviously don't think, I mean, this is Mississippi, y'all. Like, Mississippi is just like a couple steps away from Texas. I am assuming, as most normal people do in a rural area, that people are strapped. So just absolutely brazen. Criminals have gotten all the audacity on clearance. Apparently, they were trying to switch seasons, and people just picked up a lot of audacity on clearance. Uh, Alan said that the carjacking was traumatizing for the whole family. I'm not sleeping. My oldest son, he has anxiety through the roof. He's even scared. My daughter, she has shock, but they're safe, she told WAPT. Alan has only lived in the area for about 3 months, but already wants to leave Jackson after the terrifying incident. We can't stay here anymore, Alan said. No arrests have been made. I mean, you guys are going to see some of the most draconian rules if we don't start getting a handle on, let's say, the 7% of people that just cannot say no to crime. You keep letting those people out, you keep letting the Kia boys and all these people get away with crime. I mean, you had the guy in New York who tried to light people on fire. He's finally being held on bail after he did it for a second time. This is just absolutely insane and ridiculous. And I hope some kind of law and order comes back because 97% of us just want to be left alone. The rest of us are, well, the rest of us are confused, but never put it past Florida woman to one up this story. This charming young lady got in a bit of trouble for, maybe being a little too touchy-feely with her male friend on a pier, as you do. When the mood hits, the mood hits. I guess if Cialis commercials have taught us anything, that when the time hits, just have those bathtubs wherever. A woman, 20 years old, who was caught having the married time or the beast with two backs time on a public pier jumps into the water to escape the cops. I mean, it's a bold strategy. It's Florida woman. A Florida woman who was caught in flagrante uh, on a public pier in Naples dived into the water in an attempt to get away from the cops on Monday afternoon, authorities said. The escape didn't do 20-year-old Alicia Razzo much good, though. She was picked up by Beach Patrol as soon as she made it to the shore. Dang it. Yes, Sal, you can fix her. I think. What? Good night, nurse. Sadly, she was picked up as soon as she made it to shore. The Naples Police Department received multiple reports about a man and a woman doing the doing the do behind the historic pier's locked gate at about 4 p.m. 4 p.m. during busy Memorial Day holiday. Razzo and Zadok Westfield, 23, were still at it when police arrived. I mean, these two crazy kids. Let's see. As the two scrambled to put on their clothes, Razzo moved to the edge of the pier and jumped in, despite officers commanding her to stay where she was. Westfield, who was completely naked when police arrived, stayed on the scene. Oh, he's gonna have to tell his mom how. That is the look of a man who's like, "Look, mom, what had happened, I mean, I was trying to save a girl and she needed clothes. So I was like, ma'am, you can take them right off of me." And, we made a connection. So, I mean, look, meet your new granddaughter or meet your new daughter-in-law. The actual. He told the officer that he and Razzo swam to the end of the pier and intended to jump off, but wound up just having this mexy time as you do. A witness told police that she was enjoying the beach day near the pier with her four children, ages 7 to 15, when they noticed the two, well, having a little bit of together time. Ma'am, I think you're looking at this the wrong way. Now you don't even have to have the birds and the bees talk with your kiddos. Y- There, what you couldn't have even gone into the water, like where people may could have assumed but didn't. Uh, She told the police her minor children were asking questions about what the subjects were doing. They're looking for each other's clothing. They're just not walking very far. Oh my gosh. Razzo and Westfield were charged with trespassing and disturbing the police. Razzo was additionally charged with resisting without violence. Both were taken into custody and bonded out the same day. The iconic pier, which juts about 1,000 feet into the Gulf of Mexico, has only been partially open to visitors since it was severely damaged by Hurricane Ian in 2022. So, I mean, even before they were gonna cut the opening ribbon, these two are like, "We'll break it in Florida man and Florida woman style." Just what? Y'all, some of the times I'm just like, I don't even know. But in a better and more uplifting story, she graduated from Yale after raising her three kids, and her son was her classmate. Aw, good mom. Uh, Vanessa Landegger longed dream of working in medicine. She enrolled in courses as a first-year medical student in Colorado in 2000, but soon found herself struggling to balance classes with raising her then 8-month-old son. She was away from her extended family. Sleep was hard to come by, and her medical school's facilities didn't have accommodations for nursing mothers, she said. And King Bob, thank you for gifting one membership, and that went to Holly Moore. Please give him a thanks, and thank you so much, King Bob. In retrospect, I was hit pretty hard by how unforgiving clinical education generally is, she said. A few weeks into her studies, she decided to drop out, but she eventually returned to healthcare and last week graduated from Yale School of Nursing. Her son, Dylan Antonoli, now 24 and a first year student in the same program, was cheering her on. Though she cut her dream short, working in medicine to raise him, he helped inspire her to return to the field decades later. The ceremony was extremely healing, Landegger said of her graduation. Decades ago, while Landegger was considering a medical career, she and her husband were hoping to have children, but they decided she would submit her med school applications, defer her enrollment when they had their first child, and started classes a year later. But when she began the program, she found herself struggling to balance parenthood and the demands of her classes. Her husband was supportive, she said, and took care of their son while she was in school. Still, she felt unhappy as she attempted to strike a balance between classes and parenting. Landegger knew she wanted to drop out, but not before taking the midterms exams that year. I never wanted there to be a question of whether or not I could do it, she said. The exam results were posted on a bulletin board, and she saw that she had ranked three, she recalled, or ranked third, she recalled. She had walked to check out the outcome with a resignation letter in her pocket that she'd written for the medical school dean. School administrators tried to get her to stay, she recalled, but she'd made up her mind, feeling she needed to choose her son over the medical program. For me, anyway, it was a welcoming thing to have put myself aside and consider the needs of another person. Landegger went on to earn a master's degree in public health and education, theory based programs that felt more doable while she was parenting. She became a teacher in Connecticut, where she raised Dylan and her two other children. Although she had always imagined herself in a clinical career, she looked back over the years on her decision to drop out of medical school without remorse, but she still felt like that was something she was missing. That missing piece revealed itself in 2018 when Antonoli, who had trained to become an emergency medical technician, encouraged his mother to take the same training course he had completed. It's more accessible, so I thought maybe she'd like to have a little taste of medicine again, he said. At first, Landegger figured on taking the course, and it would help her manage emergency situations at the elementary school where she taught science. But months after finishing her training in 2019, the onset of the illness we will never, ever, ever talk about made EMT work and other healthcare work more essential. At the same time, Anatoly, who was taking undergraduate classes at Georgetown University, came home when the school closed amid the illness. He and Landegger filled their time picking up EMT shifts in their town of New Canaan, Connecticut, supported each other through the intense work days during an uncertain, chaotic time. The experience, Landegger said, was like putting on a glove. Her crew chief, fellow EMTs, and paramedics she worked with commented on her knack of interacting with patients and her curiosity about the cases she worked on. I really felt at home in those conversations, quite capable, Landegger said. She decided to not ignore that feeling. 1 second. And she knew then that she didn't want to go back to med school, but she wanted something beyond her EMT work. Becoming a nurse practitioner felt like a middle ground. Landegger took the prerequisite courses online through Georgetown, including a chemistry course with Dylan, so she could apply to nursing school. In 2021, she began the 3 year program at Yale. Anatoly, who returned to Georgetown to finish his psychology major, wasn't sure that what he would do after graduation. Like Landegger, he'd always had an interest in healthcare. So when he was a senior in 2022, Landegger suggested he shadow one of her Yale professors, who was a nurse practitioner at Connecticut Hospital. I just fell in love with it, her son Dylan said. Following in his mother's footsteps, he applied for Yale's nursing master's program, which he plans to finish in 2026. As he and Landegger trained to be nurse practitioners for the past year, they enjoyed a rare experience of being a mother son duo at the same school. Landegger was a leader at Anatoly's orientation, surprising other students who discovered their relationship. Landegger said her husband, or not her husband's, her son's option or opinions on the courses he would take in his first year. Uh, she would give him kind of advice, and whenever possible, they would meet up on campus between classes. When she graduated on May 20th, it was the third time Anatoly was in the audience while she finished a master's program. But it was the first time that he was her classmate. During the ceremony, Landegger, who will begin working as a midwife at Connecticut Hospital, said she kept looking back where Dylan sat. Her graduation brought back memories of her own first year in the program when it's sometimes difficult to see the end point. Landegger hopes the ceremony helped show her son that he too will find his way. Quote, "It was just like this was a moment in which the light was in sight," she said, "and he could cast his mind forward." So that's always wonderful. I love when moms kind of take back some of their time and do something for themselves. And I'm sure she is going to be an awesome midwife because she has had children. So, I mean, it's always a good idea. In other news, because she refuses to leave the internet or anything, we have to talk about Gypsy Rose Blanchard, who apparently had a little bit of a pregnancy scare with her husband, but not her former fiance, who she's now dating, the one that looked like her mom. This chick has more drama that for someone that has been out of circulation for like 10 years and almost 18 years before this. This woman has all the craziness. Wolfram, thank you for gifting 5 memberships, and those went to Inky's mom, Cornelius Random, Whiskey 77, Kaiser Pineapple, and Cindy. So thank you, Wolfram, and give Wolfram a thanks if you're one of the people that got a membership. So let's get into this must miss television. Gypsy Rose Blanchard revealed that she had a pregnancy scare while still with estranged husband Ryan Anderson in the Gypsy Rose Life After Lockup trailer. Um, we did have married time and we weren't protecting anything, Gypsy 32 said during a phone call in the trailer, which Lifetime released on Tuesday, May 28th. The trailer then cut to a clip of a friend asking Gypsy if she was pregnant. She didn't respond, though she smiled and shrugged. Absolutely, JKD Buck, she definitely needs to vanish from the internet for a while and work on herself. It when the thing that you are famous for is unaliving or manipulating someone else to unalive your mother, perhaps the fact that you have freedom now, I would just try to stay out of the limelight. I mean, we don't hear a lot from Casey Anthony, and I think that's, a good thing. Let's see. Ryan, 37, and Gypsy tied the knot in July 2022 when she was still in prison for her involvement in her mother, Claudine Dee Dee Blanchard's murder. After she was released in December 2023, Gypsy and Ryan's relationship became more conventional when they moved in together. However, their love story wasn't meant to be, and Gypsy announced their split in March. People have been asking me what's going on in my life. She wrote in a post on her Facebook page, according to People, unfortunately, my husband and I are going through a separation, and I've moved in with my parents down in the bayou. I have support from my family and friends to help guide me through this. I'm learning to listen to my heart. Right now, I need time to let myself find who I am. She later filed for divorce from Ryan on April 8th. In Touch magazine confirmed via online records at the time. Following their split, Gypsy moved on with ex fiance Ken Urker. Madam, you just said you needed to be all by your own self. Now, picking up your ex, from out your back pocket is not by your own self. The former couple, who were engaged from 2018 to 2019, sparked reconciliation rumors when they were spotted during several public outings in early April. Meanwhile, the Louisiana native confirmed she and Ken, 31, are officially back together on April 30th. Wait a minute. Filed for divorce on April 8th, in a new relationship with ex fiance by April 30th. Wonderful. After reconnecting earlier this month, we realized that our love for each other is simply undeniable. Ew. And life is too short not to take a chance, she told TMZ. We have a history that made for a perfect foundation for a new beginning. We are together and in a wonderful place in our relationship. Ladies, gentlemen, you all have that friend who, the minute she is like, he or she is done with, bad acting partner, they're like, we're going to do the, waiting to exhale, dancing with wine around the coffee table sort of move. And you're like, "Gonna be strong women, you don't need a man, focus on yourself." And the next day she's like, "This is my new fiance." And you're like, "Ma'am, did we bypass single? Did you do single on fast forward and you found him?" And then you may have lost friends because 'cause you're like, I don't read social cues very well, but, didn't you just say you were gonna be single for a while and find yourself without a man or woman or Zimzer?" And she's like, "I can't believe women should be supporting other women, not just, bringing them down. How dare you?" This is why I'm almost quite sure I'm an alien. In addition to teasing her pregnancy scare, the trailer also gave insight into Ken's involvement at the end of Gypsy and Ryan's marriage. At one point in the trailer, Gypsy admitted to Ryan that she thought she would be happier somewhere else. Ouch. Ryan, we're gonna get you some Bactine and some lidocaine because that hurts. Yipes. I mean, I feel bad for her, husband. Sure, he looks like her mom. Sure, a lot of things. But when you are already disinvested from your relationship and picking out, your latest ex to bring out of the stable, I mean, I would be a little pissed too. Quote, "Go call Ken. You're probably already talking to him anyway," Ryan responded, which left Gypsy in tears because it was the truth. Ryan later accused Ken of trying to weasel his way back in because Gypsy's now out of prison. The drama continued when another clip showed Gypsy texting someone as she rode in the car with Ryan, and he asked who is she speaking to. The pair later got into an argument and she yelled, "I don't care," when Ryan told her to delete it then. Gypsy emotionally said she didn't want to be controlled. No, no. Okay, this is not a man trying to control you. This is, you have made a vow in front of God or the pastor or the warden. I mean, however y'all get married in prison, I don't know. But you made a promise that he was going to be your person that you would confide in. And yeah, if I were a dude and you're married to me, but you're still texting your ex, saying, "He doesn't even support me," and blah, blah, blah. No, I'd be a little, that's it. I, as judge, I award Ryan all of the proceeds in their marriage. Oh my god. Oh, Lord. Those people. It People have lost their daggone minds. I am not sending you guys anywhere. It looks like, a lot of people basically aren't streaming today. I may stream or this afternoon since I don't do nightly news today. Um, because it's Wednesday and, just to keep the romance alive in Mr. and Mo's and I's life, we like to watch us a little Bobby Flay sit on the couch, maybe hold hands, and then, Thor will sit in between us and just beg for pets. It's romance. Oh, okay. He I didn't see him on there, but let me see if I can switch you guys over to Vices, and you will be free to go wherever you should so choose. Well, it's saying July. He doesn't Y'all, go where you're go, be free, my children. Flee before me. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Hopefully, your love life is better than Gypsy Rose's or, the bear that's breaking into your house right now only wants Oreos. And please, dear God, let's pray to tiny baby Jesus that none of us ended up eating a red sauce with, Nan in it. Y'all, 2024 is like we haven't even gotten into 3rd gear, okay? Any hoozle, have a great day. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and, just try to say something nice to someone when you're out today. It's a great way to people if you just compliment someone and then you can walk fastly away. Introvert secret right there. Have a wonderful day, guys. Bye.